What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be going into the housewives. And the episode was, and I guess it was the gang up on Brit, and it hits differently knowing that we know that she did not attend the reunion, and now she is suing NBC Universal and Bravo for defamation. So watching this episode, it's just different because for me it's like anything that happens we're not going to necessarily get a reason behind it because she was not at the reunion to know that okay, maybe she can now explain or articulate herself a little bit more. So watching this episode I felt like what's the point? But we started off the episode, we saw where Shamia was also basically, to me, a little bit passive aggressive when she was regarding the whole shots thing in the kitchen, where she was telling Brit that, she's not going to be forcing anyone to take shots. And she basically was just being, to me, passive aggressive in that situation. And for me, it's like, if you're gonna say something or you have an issue with someone, just say it. Like, there's no need for you to be skirting around the topic or using different ways to say what you need to say. If you're upset about something, just say something. And I don't see why you need to be upset if she just decides not want to take shots. And I don't like people like that who it's always turn up, turn up, turn up. They want to take shots, they want to take shots. And not everybody is like that, and that is okay. So for you to make it feel as if like her not wanting to drink, it's an issue. It was to me unnecessary, unneeded, and that was something I was like, okay, Shami, I think you're being a bit too much. We saw when the girls were planning, they were going to. I think a half of the group were going to some waterfalls, and then the other half was doing some cooking class with Kelly. And right before they left out, we saw where Shamir also got into the whole thing again with Brits regarding the whole Crystal and what happened the night before, and the fact that she brought up the whole Apollo of it all, which was a bit left field. Like, no one was talking about that. Why would you just bring that up out of nowhere? As rightfully Drew said, that she observed the tension between the two, and we all saw where that went further in the trip. She observed the tension, and it was something that everybody's a bit taken back or confused about. But I think Shamia had, whether it was from the charity thing, whether it's from the alleged stuff that she said Brit said about her daughter, but we realized that there was a little bit of tension there, and that was something I was like kind of a bit confused about. We saw where Angela was then trying to call Charles because apparently her wedding anniversary was the night before and they spoke according to her, but she was trying to call him, she wasn't getting in touch with him. And right, so she said that yesterday when they called an anniversary, apparently she was cooking for her daughter, for their daughter basically, and they didn't really get to speak much or anything like that. Now, of course, when they were in the vehicle, now this is where we had, like, I believe it was Portia, Shamia, Cynthia, and Phaedra. We were in there because that was a group I was going to the waterfalls, and I think they were discussing the whole charity thing again. That Brit didn't really give anything, and she only gave $250 in monetary donation. We all saw a little box that she carried. Apparently, it was just like three toilet paper or something like that she brought. And Shamia is taken back by it because you're rolling in a Rolls Royce. You came in with a Birkin bag, and it's like this is what you only could give, where other ladies gave more. And we saw where we had Phaedra saying that nothing less than $1,000, and everybody in the vehicle had much to say in regards to her donation and how much she gave. But when I watched the after show, it's like we had Phaedra and now Portia changing their tune by basically seeing as if like you cannot dictate how much money someone gives or how much do they give back. And it was so funny watching the after show to see they keep on flashing back to where they were in the vehicle agreeing with Shamia and also stating the same thing, but then when they're in the after show in front of Brits, it's like they're doing something completely different. And if you're going to say something about someone, say it 10 toes down, like stand in it and stop trying to appease someone. Like if they're going to see it on the show regardless, so I don't see the point in you're saying this in one scene, but then you're in front of her and then you're saying something completely different. And that was something I was a little bit confused by, because I'm like, you two are vets when it comes on to this reality game. I don't see why you need someone as new as Brit. Why you feel as if like you're afraid to state what you need to state in terms of the whole who given what and how many was given and everything like that. It was a little bit too much. We saw what the ladies then they decided to have a dinner. And they did the dinner. They were supposed to have the Prime Minister of Grenada supposed to be coming as well to, I guess, to them. And before we even got to where the Prime Minister did arrive, we saw where again Shamia was basically alluding to the fact of both persons giving and how much they gave, and person driving Rolls Royce and walking with a Birkin bag. And again, Shamia, like if you're talking about Brits, just say that you're talking about Brit or pick your bone at Brit. For you to make it seem as if like you're not mentioning her, and when she brought up the fact that are you throwing shade, and then you're trying to downplay it, like you are not necessarily speaking about her. And if it Shamia, like you reminded me of season 7 when we had Cynthia, when she was basically supposed to be telling Phaedra about Apollo saying that she alleged was talking to Mr. Chocolate. And she hardly could get the words out. And we saw where Nene did a reenactment of how Cynthia was, where she literally she couldn't really say what she was supposed to be saying. And this is where I felt when I saw Shamir just saying stuff and not necessarily directing the thing to the conversation. Because if everybody else gave, which was okay for you, and Brit was the only person who didn't give as much, why you don't just say, Brit, I'm talking about you? And then you're saying that you had a conversation with her off camera prior to that scene regarding the same thing, and then you're bringing it back up on camera and basically skirting around who you're directing this conversation or line of conversation for. It was just ridiculous to me, and it was something I was like, just say what you need to say. Like, there's no need for you to be pretending as if like you're not talking about Brits. Like, who is Brit for you to feel as if like you have to be saying different stuff for what? Of course, Brit, typical Brit, she basically starts to get very, I will say, aggressive. She starts to get very aggressive with her tone, and I think that's something with Brit that she needs to work on. Well, she's no longer on the show, but she still needs to work on that. She needs to work on matching the tone and reading the room. I think sometimes she gets a little bit too turned up for no reason, and I think that is the problem what these ladies are having with her. She tends to respond in a tone that is like up here when the conversation started here. And that is something I realized with her, and it all started from the beginning of the show. This is not like an over the time, she just starts to turn up for no reason. This is something that I've noticed with her from the beginning that she came on my TV screen, is that she never knows how to have a conversation in any sort of setting. It's always have to be argumentative. Like she always have to feel as if like she needs to one up someone, or combat like she's trying to get into an argument with the person. And it doesn't always have to be that. It can just always be a general normal conversation that you're having with the person. There's no need for you to feel as if like you need to be at 100 when the conversation is just at a 3. It does not I just don't understand the reason why she feels as if she needs to always go at it at a 10. And I think the ladies are noticing that with her, because we saw the same thing where Portia brought up the whole saying that she felt she didn't feel supported. And she starts to then go at it again with Portia, saying that Portia doesn't save her number. And that's another thing with her. She takes the littlest, smallest, pettiest stuff and then she makes it this big deal for no reason. And again, I don't know if that's just her in real life, but it feels as if like you're always picking at something to make an argument, to get a scene out of something, or to become something or meme ready, or I don't know what it is, but it always seems like no matter what these persons come to you at with, it's always something you need to do to stand out. And I think the best way to stand out is just to be yourself and let you naturally stand out. For you to be pretending and portraying like you're trying to always make a scene, it always falls flat. And it's the same thing I've noticed with you in all of your scenes. You did it with Angela, you did it with Drew, you did it with Kenya, where it's always falling flat. And I don't understand why you feel like you needed to come onto the show and pretend as if like you need to be always on ready when the show is not always you need to be on ready, and that's something you need to work on. The prime minister did arrive, and of course we had like Kelly, we had like Drew, we had Portia, of course, basically saying the attraction to the prime minister, and they're all single, so they're pretty much putting their bid in to become the first lady of Grenada. And of course we know Portia, she loves a over the waters type of guy. So I'm sure Portia would have probably kicked away Drew and Kelly's foot to become the first lady, because she needs another meal ticket, and for her to get that meal ticket, it has to be someone across the water, because she can't find any in Atlanta apparently. Of course, when they are way back to the house, we saw where Shamia got a phone call that her daughter is sick, and apparently they hired a nanny or a helper, nanny or a nurse, basically, to assist with their daughter. And apparently that nurse seems that she's gonna be losing her job, because apparently she had left the air in the house very cold or something, and then the child was without clothes and everything like that. And I guess she's easily to get sick, and it was this issue that broke Shamia down, because we all know this situation that her daughter is going through. And I love the idea of the ladies rallying around her. As much to me, I felt like Brit's rallying at first was like it was very touching and vulnerable. And then at some points, I was like, okay, this is just very performative. The way she was behaving, and I am your village and we're your village, and it's like she starts going into this whole monologue, and I felt like, oh my god, Brit, like I like the fight. I like the feeling that you guys got into it at the dinner, and you could put those feelings aside and rally around Shamia when it came on to this. But at some point, I was like, where are we going with this? Because it seems to me as if you are becoming a very bit performative when it comes on to this, and it was a bit very cringe. I'm not sure if the other ladies there felt that, but I was watching it, and at some point I was like, okay, this is very cringe. This is just going on and on. And then all of a sudden, wanted to go take shots, which I like the idea of lightening the mood. But then we see you take your top off and throw your breasts them pretty much on the counter. And again, you're the same one now who is pretty much filing a lawsuit for defamation and saying that you whatever the case is. But then we see you for no reason taking your clothes off, doing stuff in front of the camera. It's like your personality is a bit confusing, and I'm going into the end of the season, and I still, to me, have not. I don't understand who is Brit. I don't know who she is. I really don't know what's real from her, because everything always seems very performative, and I'm yet to see anything real from you or genuine or vulnerable from you. Even when the whole situation went on with Kenya and you were talking to your mom, I felt like that as well was performative. It just does not seem authentic. And I think that's something that I'm missing, but I'm just so happy that we won't have to see you again. So I really could care zero whether you decide in the last 2 3 episodes, if you decide to become more vulnerable, because at this point, what's the point anymore? But of course, the episode ended, and we will then get. I guess they will be still in Grenada next week, so we'll see what that brings. But I'm just kind of just over this season already. I kind of just want to get to the reunion, and hopefully they should be filming soon again for the next season. And I'm dying to see who makes the cut and who doesn't make the cut, and who's coming back and who's not coming back. But I really want to see what comes for next season. I just want to get to the reunion, because I'm like, the season alone is just very messy and dramatic. And then everything that we found out over the past week, I just want the season to be over with. It's been very scandalous, and not in the good way at some points. But let me know in the comment section what your thoughts were on the episode. Did you enjoy the episode? What are your thoughts on the season so far? Are you enjoying the season? Do you want us to get to the reunion? Do you not even care about the reunion at this point? Because what are they really going to be talking about, seeing that Kenya wasn't there and then Brit wasn't there? But let me know, guys, in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.